There's a saying that I've been using for many, many years, and I follow the saying, and it's plan the work, work the plan. If you do not have a clear destination where you want to end up, how could you possibly develop a plan? And then how could you possibly wake up every day knowing exactly what you need to focus on, what isn't important, what to do next? You wouldn't. And then it renders leaving you stuck and stagnant. So I've been working all summer on putting together my ultimate map for abundance. And I wanted it to be simplified so that it doesn't get lost. Because I notice with a lot of people talking about abundant mindset, manifestation, goals, all that, it can just feel so heavy and too much. And I know so many of you are fellow trauma survivors. You have ADHD, you're neurodivergent, you are on the spectrum. Like we've got a lot of stuff going on. Maybe you have a ton of stressors in your life. And when things get too heady and there's too much, we can kind of short circuit and not do any of them. So when I've really condensed all of this down, it's called my abundance trifecta. This is how you're going to be an energetic match to the money that you want, and it comes down to these three things. You follow this, and you are going to set everything into motion for you to make more money than beyond your wildest imagination this year. If you're tired of hearing the same old basic mindset and motivational fluff talk, you've come to the right show. Welcome to Project Me with Tiffany Carter, the podcast, where we dish on everything from managing that crazy brain of yours to manifesting abundance to my straightforward, actionable steps that will make you major money online. Now, I'm not your typical multimillionaire entrepreneur. It takes a small village to keep my anxiety and depression in check. I'm inherently disorganized with an intense obsession with office supplies. Your girl here is a digital marketing content expert who's generated over $200 million in sales. I promise by tuning in twice a week, you will get a much needed refreshing dose of truth, clarity, and cash making advice. Now let's get to it. What up, my people, my posse, my fellow crazies? It's your host, Tiffany Carter, and this is the show that is going to help you grow your business, your bank account, that big, beautiful brain of yours, your abundance, your relationships, and everything in between. Now, in less than 48 hours, depending on when you're listening to this, which I really hope you listen to these episodes like the day they come out, we are going to be live together in one of my very rare opportunities where I offer a free live special training. And that's happening on August 28th at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern. You need to get in here. Go to projectmewithtiffany.com/special training to sign up. You can send it to anyone you want. And what we're going to be talking about and what you will learn is how to showcase your offers so they are a must buy for your people instead of a someday option. If you're sick of getting excuses from people instead of people being excited to pay you for your gifts, passions, talents, products, services, and experience, this is a must attend. We are going to stack the odds in your favor to have ideal clients eager to buy from you. So I'll be teaching you my simple and straightforward proven three-part art formula that I've used to help generate hundreds of millions of dollars for thousands and thousands of clients worldwide. So this formula can be easily and immediately applied to any type of business where you want to generate consistent lead sales clients and substantial revenue streams online. So I've successfully taught this formula in more than 79 different industries. So if that isn't enough for you to prioritize showing up live, you need to. Now, if your schedule absolutely won't allow it and there's nothing you can do about it, I am allowing you to have access to the live replay for 10 days free of charge, and then we will start charging for it. You can swipe up. The sign up link is right inside the show notes. or you can go right in the description here on YouTube at ProjectME TV, and you want to be watching this show as well on YouTube because it can be pretty entertaining behind the scenes here. We keep it really raw and real over here, and you can get in there. Now, we have a limited number of people who can get in on the live because it's live on Zoom and it's to 500. So don't procrastinate on this. Pause this if you need to. Go register really quick and then come back to this episode. So, part one of this series, and I know it's been long awaited. I've been asked for years for me to give my roadmap to abundance. Like, what is it, Tiffany? What are the core ingredients in this thing? And just like I teach you and anyone in my mastermind, anyone in my Project Me Posse business coaching membership, or any of my programs, I don't slap anything together, and I don't want you to either. You know, people know and come to expect things from you as a brand or a business. And what people expect from me is they know they're going to get top tier, high quality stuff. So I've been working on this all summer. Part one is your direction. Part two is your magnetism. And part three is your implementation. So obviously, we're going to focus on your direction. And you heard me say in the intro, it's very hard to know how in the hell you're going to get somewhere and to stay on track to getting to your destination if you aren't clear on where the fuck you're going. Imagine you putting in a GPS. I want to give a city that everyone knows. So let's even use like London as an example. You're wanting to get to a city really that where your auntie lives outside of London, like a half an hour out. But yes, the closest airport, the closest big city is London. And you put in your GPS and Google Maps, you put in London, you're not going to end up at your auntie's house in the countryside. You're going to end up in the dead ass center of London. I mean, if you did that here in LA, and a lot of people do this when they visit Los Angeles, they'll put Los Angeles in their GPS. And it's like, I'm telling you, you're not going to like where you end up if you put LA. You end up in downtown LA, and this is not a vibe here in the city. Okay? Like a lot of cities you want to end up downtown. I don't recommend it as a newcomer to this city ending up there, okay? So my point is you have to be more specific. But the reason you're not more specific isn't because you don't know what you want. That's bullshit. Your conscious mind, your inner bully, your ego might try to convince you of, well, I don't really know what it is I want. I'm not really sure. I'm multi-passionate. No, bullshit. You've just not been asked the right questions, and you've not given yourself permission to declare and say what you want and to actually speak it into existence, because there's a part of you that doesn't believe it's possible for you. There's a part of you that feels really vulnerable, because if you speak it into existence and then it doesn't happen, that's not going to feel good. So it's a form of self-protection. And then the third layer to that is when we actually say what it is that we want, and we're specific, right? We're saying we want to end up in Manhattan Beach, California, right on the ocean, and not Los Angeles. When you're that specific, then you'll end up where you want to be. But if you're not that specific, you really don't have to take the extra actions and have the accountability to really get to your final destination, right? You can kind of go, well, at least I made it to Los Angeles. Hey, at least I made it to London, and it's a way of you protecting yourself from not really reaching your highest potential, your ultimate abundance that's actually your birthright, that was actually predetermined of where you were going to go. Your humanness, meaning your ego, is holding you back from that. So none of the stuff I teach you in parts 2 or 3 will matter if you don't own your direction, claim your direction, and speak it into existence. Now, I am not telling you that you need to go shout this from the rooftops online, that you need to tell everyone in your family and strangers that you meet what you want to do. In fact, a video that I did recently on TikTok that went viral, and I'm at ProjectME with Tiffany on TikTok. It's all exclusive content to TikTok. So if you already follow me on Instagram at ProjectME with Tiffany, it's totally different content. It's more abundance, mindset, manifestation stuff. And I do a series called Rich People's Best Kept Secrets that's quite entertaining that you'll love on there. And I said, one of the rich people best kept secrets that I learned is that you don't tell almost anybody what the fuck you're doing. And I'm talking the couple people who have the privilege and get to know are either someone you're paying, right? Like I might share that with a therapist. I might share that with my life coach. I might share that with my business mentor. And at a very discerning, you have to have very discerning people in your life because it can be even dangerous to share something with a partner because people will project their own fears onto you, even if they're lovely people. And they also can get protective of you in that way. And they'll even say that you really should focus on something that's more concrete, Melissa. I hear that you want to do all these creative endeavors and do all these things, and that's nice, but like we're not living in a world where that's really going to work. And I'm just looking out for the best interest of you. I mean, I had so many people tell me that a podcast would never make money. It's unrealistic. You should be continue focusing that same time, energy, and money in continuing to build your agency and sell it. And my agency, yes. I mean, I could have kept doing that and sold it. I could still sell it. It's an 8-figure business, but I wasn't lit up or happy by it. I'm much happier now with my agency and delight in it. And it's intellectually stimulating for me, and helping the medical companies, pharma companies, health supplement companies with branding and social media marketing. Like I enjoy it now because I'm so fulfilled and I am living out my higher purpose. I'm not denying myself of that, but continue to do something that seems logical that will make more money. If that's not your real calling and that's not really going to get you to that micro destination, right? If that's not going to get me to living oceanfront in one of the most pristine, beautiful, perfect weather beaches in the world, I wouldn't have been able to have manifested a beach house here. I just said, I want a beach house. That's in my vision. It's on the vision board. I want a beach house someday. That's a beautiful start. Okay. But that's not why you guys come to me. You come to me to get to the damn destination, and I'm going to take you there so you don't stay stuck in it. I'm not the necessary initial person you come to, and I'm well aware of that. I'm the person who gets you the damn results. Okay. Because you deserve that. And they're already here for you. They're waiting for you to make the adjustments on, like, think of a combination lock, like those dial locks that we had in school on the lockers. Those dial locks, if you didn't hit those numbers kind of just right, it wouldn't open. And then you're like, damn it. And you're in too much of a hurry and you have to try it 2-3 times. Then you have to breathe and calm down and take your time and be more delicate. And then it opens. That is such a great analogy for manifestation. You can be off by a couple degrees. You could be off by like 10% of energy, and now you're not an energetic match at that frequency for that manifestation to come in just yet. It takes fine tuning. So I know you might be feeling frustrated. Maybe you're not in a frustrated zone right now. Maybe you were last week. I want you to know that that's okay. You can be frustrated and still manifest, right? Like it's part of it. Just know that the fine tuning and the nuances are how you're going to get there. I didn't end up getting what I wanted until I said, I walked up and down. We call it the strand here. And those of you guys who are coming to my 2-day in-person mastermind experience, this isn't happening again until the end of 2025. And I may not choose to do it again. And I've gotten quite a few DMs from people saying, I don't think I can come this year. I don't have the money. I know how amazing it would be to learn from you and your team in person. I know it would take everything to another level. Blottity, blottity, blue. I'll come when you do it next year. First of all, there's a lot of things that I choose to not do again. I might be off gallivanting the world. I might be finally writing my damn book. I might not do that again. I've set up my business where I don't have to do any one thing on repeat if I don't want to. But what I want to say about the money part, you come to me for me to show you how to make money. So I'm not surprised when any business owner comes to me and says, I'm up against it. My sales are down. My sales are flat. Things aren't going as well. I'm not making money. You're coming to me to fix that. So you're not sitting heavy cash flush necessarily, nor is any business owner when they're looking for help. Like I'm cash flush and I hire help now, but I'm also hiring help and investing in order to get a return, in order to climb, in order to reach that next level of abundance. And by you avoiding that, by you avoiding finding a way and investing and paying before the money is there, you're blocking your own abundance. This is the faster path. This is the fastest way. This is how you jump timelines. This is where you get the roadmap and you follow it. So if I were in your shoes and I were starting over and there was someone like me and you resonate with my teaching style, I would run because I should be charging $25,000 for this. And I can tell you it won't be at this price next year either. So go to projectmewithtiffany.com/mastermind. It's almost sold out. And when I bring up this mastermind on my training that we're doing, the free training on August 28th, this is opened up to the public. These spots will be gone. I can't add anymore. So I just want you to go, where am I holding myself back in the direction? Am I not even getting in the car and even driving to London? Am I not even getting on a plane to even land in Los Angeles? Am I just envisioning or saying, I should go visit my auntie one day who lives in the countryside in England? I should go, I should go, or I will go someday to Tiffany's Abundance Beach in Manhattan Beach, California, and do her mastermind. Do you think a someday statement, oh, that would be a good idea. Oh, that feels nice. Do you think that that is you really putting a stake in the ground of this is where I'm ending up. This is what I want. This is happening now. I am going to do everything in my power to make sure this is happening. This is a done deal. Absolutely. Bing, bang, boom. A very big energetic difference. And when I finally manifested this beach house, even though I had been walking up and down the strand here on the beach, which is basically the term here for boardwalk, and I don't think anywhere else in the world calls it this, which is very typical of LA, right? It's like we have to call things different names. And you can walk miles and miles and miles and look at all these beach mansions and the masterminds in one of these mansions, like a wow mansion. Like I'm talking tens and tens and tens of millions of dollars to buy. And I would say, I really want to live on the beach someday. I want to live on the beach someday. And then it escalated to, I would love to live here someday. I would love to have a house like that someday. And then it escalated to me being more specific. I want to live in Manhattan Beach because there's different beach cities here. I want a house on the Strand in Manhattan Beach where I have multiple views of the ocean and I'm so close that I can hear the waves. I can smell the ocean. I can feel the ocean breeze on my face when I'm sitting on a chair reading or journaling. I can, while I'm doing my work, I can look out at the ocean and I have this incredible, inspiring view. And I can have people over and have them delight in this abundance, and they get to experience it through me. And I get the joy of seeing their joy and seeing themselves relax and sink into this environment where I have all the windows open and all the breezes coming in, and maybe there's an occasional fly or two. I did have a small bat come in the other day, and if you and the entire neighborhood heard me at midnight, yes, there was a small baby bat in here. I was like, "Wow." That was crazy. But you can have all the windows open with no screens. Where else in the fucking world can you do that? Maybe you could do that in, like, Greece, because it's like in the Greek islands, because it's so windy. You could probably get away with that. And it's see how specific I was? And then the manifestation happened in the most grand, crazy way. So, your job, your homework from this episode is for you to get descriptive and very clear on your vision. And it's vulnerable feeling, because when I was walking up and down this strand, I would go, but I know how much these houses are, and then I'd go on like apps like Zillow, and like look in the paper and see how much they are and see how much rent is. And I was like, I don't know how I'm going to do that. And I would start getting in self judgment. Like, this seems fucking stupid. This seems crazy of me to do this. Like, how am I ever going to do this? This seems far fetched. This seems unrealistic. This seems pie in the sky. Like, what? It's not like I'm a celebrity. Like, yeah, it would make sense if if I was signed to a record label, I already had some big podcasting contract. But that's not how this works. You have to know the motherfucking thing is here for you and is happening for you before you even have a really clear map of the road. This is how the roadmap appears, is by you knowing where you're starting. What specific city, specific street even, are you putting into Google Maps? Not the general vicinity, not the overall area. I don't even want the fucking vibe. Where? And I know you've been avoiding doing this because it feels like it's so vulnerable to dream, right? It's pleasurable to dream. It can feel like, well, if I really say this is what I want and I'm not specific, I'm going to actually have to start taking some real action, investing time and energy and money in following a path and planning the work and working the plan for the dream. And that can feel scary because you want to know what? It's far less vulnerable and it's far safer to your ego to stay in dreamland, to stay the forever student than be the executor. Fact, I call people out on it all the time with love. And I see it all the time, even like in the 2-day mastermind. People are so obsessed with like the first half day. We are dreaming, we're brainstorming, we're determining the next level direction and getting specific. Then we're even starting to reverse engineer how each person is going to get there in a way that feels good to them and will feel good to their ideal clients. Feels amazing. But you don't come to my mastermind and not start executing. That's not how I roll with my live events. All the live events that are out there that I've ever attended, you get pumped full of motivation and feel good dopamine. Then you leave, then you go home, you have a notebook filled with notes. You maybe got a bag filled with a bunch of stuff and some books. And then you end up doing almost none of it, if usually none of it, because you don't know where to start. You've lost the dopamine now. Now you're back into reality. No, 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 no. We start executing. You'll get more done in your business in 2 days here than you have all year. I feel really confident in saying that. And there'll be real income generating actions and joy generating actions, not nice to have actions, not admin type actions. Plus, it's a tax write-off, okay? Because you're learning from a top-tier business and marketing strategist, and I'm flying in my entire team of experts for you. I don't have to do that. It would be more than enough to learn from me, and you're getting the best of the best. It's at projectmewithtiffany.com/mastermind. This will not be priced like this next year. I'm just letting you know. And this is already priced shockingly low for what you get and what you'll walk away with. But what happens is people start having resistances come up on day 2. And that's why I have my subconscious mindset coach. That's why I have a somatic and breath work and sound healer. That's why I have these people coming in, because we've got to work through these resistances. You're not going to go home with these resistances. We need to release these resistances, and they're coming up. The fear of being seen, the fear of being awkward. What if this doesn't work? Who am I to do this? And we need that shit to come up to clear it. This is all part of it. This is why all these people are on my team. I have all the same stuff too. And when you know this direction, the way appears. If you want, for example, okay, I like giving practical examples. I have a client who has an incredible modality that she does. And I don't want to say the name of the modality because we're going to do a special podcast episode on it. But she has a really cool modality that she is a certified expert in helping people. It's kind of like, EMDR and tapping. It's like it helps people who are the overthinkers, overanalyzers, people who've been through trauma, that kind of a thing. And she wants to bring this worldwide and be known as like a leading expert in this area, so on and so forth. So she's coming to the mastermind. She's also a private client of mine. And we got more and more specific because that's great that she wants to do that. I think it's wonderful. I think it's genius. I said, but that's not specific enough. How does this look day to day? Because what will feel good to you day to day and having this as a business is very different from what would feel good to me, what would feel good to the next person. Because if it isn't set up and your business isn't operating and generating revenue in a way that feels light, that feels fun, that feels freeing, that feels expansive, you're going to end up quitting and it's not going to work. And she has a more introverted personality. She is someone who loves traveling and wants to be able to be free in that way. So where it's not always dependent on her time for money. And she wants to be able to have different price point levels so that this is something that can be accessible to all people. So now we're reverse engineering and road mapping her business destination based on her being that specific and the lifestyle that she went into, that she told me she wants to lead, how she wants to feel waking up every day. What do her days look like? So here's your homework. And if you choose not to do it, I also want you to get curious about that. Why would I resist doing Tiffany's Abundance Trifecta that she's generously, providing to us for free here on this podcast, that I believe works for her because she has the receipts? Why would I avoid doing something that is so clear and straightforward that's going to ultimately get me to where I want to go? I'm always fascinated by that with myself too, if I'm not doing something, right? Like, if you know for a fact and you're looking at that mastermind page, or for a fact and you're looking at my free special live training that's this Wednesday. I mean, if you didn't run and sign up for that or prioritize coming to the live, it's like, well, you can't say it's about money because I give you so many high-end resources that don't cost money. You can say it's about time, but that's bullshit because look at how much time you spend on your phone. Your phone tells you how much time you spend scrolling Amazon, how much time you spend doing nonsense, how much time you spend watching Netflix. So you have the time. So that's bullshit too. And you can't even tell me you're exhausted in energy because you can listen. You don't even have to fucking watch me. You can just listen and sit in the bathtub. So that's not true. It's something that's deeper than that. And I want you to get curious about it because it's really odd when you break it down that way. It's like, wait, I'm saying I want this. I want the wealth. I want the freedom. I want the option to do what I want when I want. I don't want to be dependent on any person, place, thing, job, money, client, or institution for money or ever again. And I do see that it exists. And I do believe it exists. And I do see the receipts that Tiffany shows and other people show. And I do know I have some great gifts, skills, passions, talents, experience, expertise that I can monetize or that I have monetized. So then why wouldn't you invest? Why aren't you betting on yourself? You'll go to Vegas and gamble. You'll go buy a bunch of shit you don't need at Target. You would probably even give a friend or a family member money to help them start their business. And I've done that many times. You'll bet on someone else's dream. You'll go serve someone else by being an employee or being even a consultant or a coach for someone else's life and business and be their greatest supporter and cheerleader, but not be that for yourself. Well, that ends today. And that's your first order of business here, that you're declaring that ends today. I'm no longer going to play the game of feeding my fears and feeding into the bullshit and the nonsense of my inner bully. I'm going to feed where I want to go. I'm going to feed my future. And I'm starting this today. So that's one. And let me know that you've done that by either writing a 5-star Apple Podcast review. That's the only platform where you can leave a written review. And it really goes a long way in helping the show. So I truly appreciate that in exchange for what I'm teaching you in this series. That would really mean a lot. There's a lot that goes into putting on this show, and that's all I'm asking from you is to do that and to sign up for the free live training for this Wednesday at projectmewithtiffany.com/special training. And if you're a Spotify listener, tap the 5 stars. And if you're watching on YouTube, definitely share this, subscribe, and write something in the comments. I do my best to get through all the comments on the videos. Or you can also obviously share this with someone, but you can also shout it out on Instagram or Facebook or TikTok and tag me, and I reshare it. That really delights me when you guys do that and do a takeaway. I want to see you're declaring this for yourself. If you're not willing to declare that I'm going to stop feeding my fears and I'm going to feed my fucking future, then don't listen to this series. You've got to do it. Aren't you fucking tired? Aren't you tired of yourself yet at this point? You've been on this earth long enough. I'm tired for you. I was there. Okay. I'm not saying anything to put you down. I hope you know that. I think you know that. I'm tired for you because I'm tired of myself. I was tired of myself in certain areas of my life. So I get it. Your other piece of homework is I want you to take however many pieces of paper it takes, but you're going by day of the week. What do your Sundays look like? Get descriptive as fuck. Your ideal Sunday, your ideal Monday, your ideal Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and so on. And I don't want and don't go down the path of, well, ideally I've won the lotto, so I'm not working at all and I'm just doing whatever I want. Not approved. I don't like it. That's spiritual entitlement. That's not what we're talking about here. And yeah, right now that might feel like an escape hatch to you because you're burnt out and you're exhausted because you're trading all your time for money and you're overgiving and overdoing. And I understand that. And that's where the lotto preys on that, because it's a fantasy type thinking. But I don't like that. We want to be able to be in the co-pilot seat of our manifestation. And that's not what that's going to do. Okay. That's basically you putting everything to chance. And I don't like it. So what does that look like? We're meant to serve. We're meant to share these gifts in a way, not sit back and just like do nothing all day. That might feel good for a week or two for you, okay? Maybe even a month. But after that, it's not going to be fulfilling. And I can tell you because I've fucking done it. Even traipsing around Europe this summer, I was excited to come back and come back to my business and share with all of you. What an amazing feeling that is. Not only was I excited to come back for my business, I was excited to come back to my homes because I've created a life that I don't need a vacation from. I've created a business I don't need a vacation from. And that's exactly what we're doing here. And yes, if you're already knee deep in a business, it can be reorganized and it can be restructured and it can be finessed and massaged. And how do I know this? Because I've done it with many, many, many people of businesses of all sizes, and I've done it with my own business. So every single day, what does a Saturday look like? Do you get up? Do you take time to make some breakfast? Maybe go to the farmer's market? Maybe go to a yoga class? Maybe do some content? What does a Sunday look like? Is it involve going to church? Are you doing a beach walk? Are you going on a long hike? What does a Monday look like? I've changed it to where my Mondays ease me into the week. So my Mondays are very, very light. There's a famous book called The 4-Day Work Week. Well, you want to know what I'm on? I'm on the 3-day fucking work week. Mm? And let me tell you, it is a vibe for me. And it's not always every week because there's opportunities and things that come up and the reality of business and growth. But for the most part, it's 3 days a week. And that wouldn't have happened if I didn't get specific enough and design it this way. I would love for you, and it would be great content for your audience to see. You should actually film yourself and even maybe do a time lapse filming yourself doing your ideal days of the week. Because without your clear direction, you're not going to end up at your destination. And how in the hell is the universe? How in the hell are the angels, God, your spirit guides? How are they supposed to help you get there and direct you and guide you if you're not giving them your specific outcome and destination that you want? Not possible. And when you're doing this exercise, I want to make sure you include feelings words, not just facts, not just, stats on where you are and what it looks like. I want it to be what it feels like, what it sounds like, what your nervous system is experiencing, even what the smells are around you, maybe even what you're eating. And you infuse more of that into it where you're including your senses, you're going to see the power of that. Where if you read that out loud to another person, it's so descriptive that they could plant themselves there. That's what I want to see. I'm excited for you to do day 2, part 2 of this, which is your magnetism, which will be fascinating. But make sure you do this exercise first. Go sign up. You have less than 48 hours till we are live on Zoom for Wednesday. Go to projectmewithtiffany.com/special training. If you are feeling called and leaning in to working with me and taking all of this to a much more expansive level of being in 2 full days with me here in Manhattan Beach, California, go check out the mastermind page, projectmewithtiffany.com/mastermind. And if you're being pulled and you visited that page before, you've been chewing on this. Should I do this? Shouldn't I do this? You're overanalyzing, overthinking. Trust that you wouldn't be thinking about this so much. You would have already forgotten about it if you weren't being called to attend. But you waiting to not feel scared and not feeling apprehensive and not going, God, will I fit in? Is this the right fit for me? Should I? You waiting for that to go away. It's not going to go away because you're making an expansive move. Just like it's not going to go away when I was even asking myself, should I go to this next level of investing in ad spend for this live training? should I really do that? That seems kind of crazy. I've never done that before. And I was like, but I couldn't drop it, right? I woke up the next day thinking about it and the next day thinking about it. And so that was a sign it was time to do it, not for me to wait to feel more comfortable. You're not going to feel more comfortable. That's not how growth works. I just felt there was at least a couple of you who needed to hear that, because that shows me you care, that you're chewing on it and thinking about it. And there's something that's grabbing you there, and you need to trust that. Because if you don't trust that, the cost that you're going to pay as a result over time is 10 to 15 times higher. I know, because I've done it and I've seen people do it. And there's countless people who are coming to the mastermind this year that were so upset with themselves from not attending last year that they refused to miss it, to where even months ago, before I even did the pre-launch sale, they asked if they could put down a deposit in order to attend, because they did not want to miss going, because they were kicking themselves not going before and following through on that instinct. And I've been there and I know that. And I just don't want to see that for those of you who are being called and meant to be there. Wishing you great health, wealth, and worth as always. Love you. If you enjoyed this podcast, please write a 5-star review on iTunes. Not only will this make me super happy, but it will allow more listeners to find our special show. Simply help me help others.